Today I get to ride the Vincent Black Shadow, which has been a dream of mine that I've had for well over 40 years. So used to seeing these things behind velvet ropes or on a plinth where you can look but not touch. So to walk out onto the car park and see one sitting there, ticking over, no velvet ropes, no plinth, just sitting there waiting for me to throw my leg across it and take it for a day's ride is an absolutely amazing experience. We get talked through the basic controls. We have a few laps of the car park to get used to the machine, and then we're taking off on this guided tour. First thing that strikes me about the bike is how low the bars are. You have quite a reach down to them. Bars are also quite close together, so it really does hint at a racing pedigree for these, which were the super bike of the day. I think most people will have the image of Rolly Free lying in just a pair of shorts down the whole length of the bike, trying to hit 150 miles an hour at Bonneville. That image will be burned into the brain of most bikers out there, I think. So the day is quite overcast and it does actually rain later on in the day, but that doesn't dampen the experience of actually getting on this bike at all. They often say don't meet your heroes. Well, the Vincent Black Shadow has been a hero of mine, as I said, for over 40 years, and it's every bit what you would expect. It's a fantastic experience. So being on the saddle of one of these things, taking it down the road. The only comparison I can give you is to my matchless 650. When you get into 60 miles an hour on that, you know you're doing 60 miles an hour. The whole world tends to go a bit blurry due to the vibration. On the Vincent, it's smooth as silk, and you know there's a lot left to give. Similarly, the sound quality on the Vincent's quite muted but very deep and sonorous, whereas on the matchless with the reproduction silencers, it's very loud noise at 60 miles an hour. So obviously built for a more gentlemanly rider who wants to go like stink. But the experience isn't just that, it's the smell that you've had, the warm oil coming up to you, and looking at that massive speedo as you're going down the road. Absolutely incredible. The throttle response is really good, and it really gets up there very quickly. You can tell though that this is something of a race engine, because it's very picky about what gear it likes to be in. So at sort of 30 miles an hour it won't really handle top gear comfortably, it starts to labour, so you need to be in third. With the 650, the flywheel gives it enough torque to handle top gear at 30 miles an hour quite easily, so it does hint to the fact that the Vincent is much more focused on outright performance. You've of course got the standard across the frame braking, and the gearbox is 1 up 3 down. Another feature of the Vincent is because it's got 2 carbs, you've got 2 choke levers, although the advancing retard is actually handled automatically on the bike. Braking wise, you've got 4 admittedly tiny 4-inch drum brakes, so you're not going to be doing any stoppage on this thing, but they're quite adequate as long as you're aware of the age of machine that you're on and plan your riding and braking accordingly. One issue with the Vincent became readily apparent to me when we had to stop for a broken down bike on the tour, which, thanks to the museum staff, they carry a couple of spare bikes in the support van that goes with you, so they just swapped it over for one of the other bikes. But while we were waiting, I had to park the Vincent up, and the one that we were on had got no side stand, so you have to get off the bike, work your way down to the back of the bike, balancing it, undo a T-bolt to allow the rear stand to drop down, then work your way round to the back of the bike, put your foot against the rear stand and then haul the bike backwards and up onto the stand. Luckily, with there being other people on the tour, there was quite a few people there to help me do it, because it's quite a heavy bike to do that with. And of course you've got the opposite to get it started, because you need to start it on the main stand, and then you've got to try and get it off the main stand, lift it up, redo the nut, go back onto the bike and remount it. So it's best done with more than one person if you can. Another issue that I found with the Vincent is that, unlike most of the bikes of the era, this does actually have hinged foot pegs, but the foot pegs hinge towards the front of the bike. So when you're lifting your foot up from stopping at a junction or something like that, if your trousers catch it, it lifts the foot peg out of the way, so that when you come to put your foot on it, it's not there anymore, and you have to hunt around to find it and put it back down. The only other niggle I had with the bike was that it was difficult to find neutral at first, and this was quickly sorted out when Mr. Wall, the museum's chief restorer, pointed out to me that the bike had got a neutral finder, which really helps. But really, at the end of the day, we're talking minor niggles here, and this is a Vincent Black Shadow, so really, who cares? You know, it's absolutely amazing bike to ride. We get quickly to the lunch stop, which is included in the price of the tour, and one of the best moments of the day for me was coming out after having a very nice lunch, seeing this amazing Black Shadow sitting there on the car park and knowing that it was me that was going to be riding away on it. So we make our way back through the country lanes to the museum, where it's time to hand the bike back, which I reluctantly do. And now for me to tell you how you can get to do this. So the way to do it is you have to become a member of the Friends of the Museum, which you can do quite easily on their website, and it costs less than £30 as I make this video. Then you get invited to apply to go on one of these classic bike tours, and you'll get an email listing what bikes are available and how much it is for the day. Now, the Vincent Black Shadow was quite obviously the most expensive bike on offer for the day, and for the day, including lunch, the insurance, all the backup, the guides, everything, was £750, which I thought, really, it's not too much. If you can afford it, I do thoroughly recommend that you do it, because how else are you going to get to ride over £80,000 worth of motorcycle? Yeah, definitely recommend that you go to the museum website, join their friends group. You get a magazine, I think it's 4 times a year. You also get discount at the cafe. You get invited on Rider Classic days, which is just there's about 12 or 13 bikes on the car park, and you go through a route which is marked out on the car park and just do 3 or 4 circuits and then change bikes and have a go on another one. That is a very cheap day. I think it's less than £20 for that day at the moment, and I thoroughly recommend that.